Hi, folks. Welcome back to Dare Tell Darla. Okay, the name has changed because there's too many other Dare Tells. Now, I want to hear from you, but first and foremost, I hope that you subscribe to the channel, even if you don't write in, because it helps these stories continue. The majority of my stories now are from Judy, who happens to be my mother, but she's also a phenomenal writer. She's really a great writer. But it has to be your truth. It's her truth. This is, that's the difference with, other channels. This isn't make believe. So if you do have a story of a paranormal experience, if you have a story where you think that you had a guardian angel or you saw a ghost or Bigfoot or anything along those lines, I want to hear from you. Write to me. You can do it anonymously if you want to. That is fine. Me, Cal Gal, MECALGAL at gmail.com. Okay, let's get to the story. And so I have two here from her, and one of them is we can all relate to. This one's is just cute. We're going to start off with this one. This story takes place around 1959 in my hometown, Healdsburg, California, where I grew up. My name is Judy Ingram, and this, of course, a true story that took place there. We lived on the corner of First and Tucker Street at 527 Tucker to be exact. The movie Dracula came out and was being shown at what was then called the Avon Theater. I was around 10 years old at the time. Back then, we didn't need to keep our doors locked. We didn't have to. It's pretty impossible to believe that now, but it's true. So a little girl going to the movies by herself was not out of the ordinary. It was still daylight when I took my 50 cents, a quarter to get in and a quarter for treats, and skipped off. I didn't skip back, however. The theater was pitch black inside. The movie usher showed me where to sit with her flashlight. The movie screen lit up and I was eating my popcorn very nervously. The opening scene takes place in a foggy graveyard inside a tomb. A coffin was opening slowly, and a white hand with long fingernails was slowly lifting the lid. Suddenly, Dracula, with red eyes and white face, smiled, and with two large fangs appeared, dripping blood. He threw his black cape over him, and suddenly he became a big black bat that seemed to fly straight at me. I screamed. But for some reason, I stayed to watch the rest of the story. When the movie was over, it was dark outside, and I had to walk several blocks home. But the longest block was Matheson Street. It was a very dark night, and I was terrified. Back then, there were tall hedges along the right side of the street and a Catholic church that bonged every hour on the hour. I was walking along on the sidewalk, shaking with fear when the church bell started ringing. Bong, bong. I ran all the way home, knowing at any second a bat would appear and bite my neck. I ran up onto the porch, grabbed the doorknob, and I ran in. I was safe, or so I thought. Dinner was almost ready, and my mother asked me to go to our neighbor's and borrow some bread. I begged Mom to have somebody else go and get it, but she insisted that I go out into the dark again. I mustered up all the courage I had and ran down the street to our friend's house, got the bread, and ran back. But just as I reached the front door, a young man who lived upstairs heard me running home and had hidden in our big blue hydrangea bush by the front door. He jumped out from the middle and started shouting. I screamed and immediately fell onto the floor into the fetal position. I was out of my mind with fear and in shock. I couldn't quit whimpering until I heard my name being called over and over. Judy, Judy. Judy, it's okay. It's me, Woody. Woody. I sat up then, mortified by what had happened. My friend apologized profusely. We picked up the bread and walked into the house. I never said anything to my folks, Dan and Dolly. I didn't want to get Woody in trouble. but I knew I would never feel safe again, not for a long time. Well, thank you for sharing that story. I know that we've all had those moments in childhood where we watched that one movie that scared the bejeebies out of us, right? Remember those days? Think about that when you're raising your kids too, and the stuff that they're watching on the internet. Oh, that's so scary. Okay, folks, again, please write me, mecalgal, that's MECALGAL, at gmail.com, and share whatever you'd like with me. You may remain anonymous. And have you hit that subscribe button yet? Okay, folks, you guys have a good one. I look forward to reading another story or sharing another story with you guys. All right, bye.